Not much to cover.
Not much. Yeah, we've talked throughout about Riley.
Yeah.
How big of a break of a seal moment was that just for him to get that blast?
I mean, first off, he's incredible. And I know, it's been some tough times or some a few games but he never concedes, and he is a tough kid. He's had to endure a lot. I play him every day. He's in the middle of the order. He gets managed against, and he comes up big right when you need it. So that was a big swing, but that was one of many parts of this game and many parts of our roster who contributed to a big win in the biggest win of the year. So proud of our guys because today's game was symbolic of how we roll. It's a lot of different guys doing something positive, multiple guys getting on base, leadoff batter on base 5 innings in a row, an entire bullpen, Troy Melton on 3 days rest, Will coming in a big game. I mean, I could go on the entire time because of how many guys did something positive.
AJ, back here. Just it was kind of the tale, as you mentioned, of 2 games. When you guys were down 3-0, that crowd was getting a little irate. And for you guys to be able to put the offensive explosion up and kind of win them back, could you kind of just talk about that?
I mean, obviously, this is an emotional game for everybody, fans included. And everybody's kind of living on every pitch. And in the dugout, you try not to ride that emotion just because the 27 outs are going to be played regardless. And you got to keep fighting. And it's hard, we knew our season was on the line. This is not the first elimination game that we've played this postseason, and our guys stayed loose and stayed in the game and came up with some really big pitches and some big swings, and you need all of it. And obviously, I know how much this matters to our fan base, to our city, to our season, and we're one more win away from bringing baseball back to Comerica again.
Yeah, AJ, before the floodgates opened up, Jahmai Jones with that big pinch hit. Just talk about what he's meant to this team.
Yeah, he's been a big part, and he patiently waits every day for his opportunity, and whether it's it's pushed a little closer to the middle of the game now with the urgency of the playoffs, but generally it's against back-end left-handed relievers in a critical moment of the game, and he knows the strike zone, he knows where the barrel is, he's unafraid. And he's fully prepared. And so as that inning was building, it was a lot. It was Dingler's base hit. It was, we needed to chip away is what it felt like. And Jahmai comes up big with another pinch hit. So it's his role. He's really good at it. There's a reason why we stay consistent with giving him those opportunities is because of his impact. And, obviously was a big part of this win.
AJ, when you took Casey out of the game, what was kind of your message to him? And then at that point, I think you still had 18 outs to go. Did you know that Troy Melton was going to have to take down a bulk of those outs at some point?
For sure. The last part is we knew we were trying to get the ball to Melton, and we didn't know when it was going to be. When I talked to Casey, I took him in the tunnel. Those cameras are a funny thing. They follow me everywhere. And I just wanted to tell him that the best chance for us to not only keep this game close but win this game was to continue to throw different pitchers at them. It's been a successful strategy for us. Casey definitely could have gone out, but when the game dropped us off at Naylor and we have our full allotment in the pen, including Troy, Tyler, I knew Finnegan, Vest was going to throw a career-high pitches if we needed. We were all hands on deck. And so the aggressive move to the pen was to try to give them a lot of different looks. Naylor, I watched the first at-bat where it was a lot of pitches. He gets the double. Canzone is another tough hitter. They have him in the 7-hole to connect those two where they can pinch hit. So if I was going to take him out at the Canzone at bat, I wasn't going to send him out there to get in trouble when we had, a couple of matchups that we liked. So it didn't work out to start, but Tel Finnegan came in and saved the day with the double play despite it, contributing to a run.
AJ, your hitters have been saying it's coming. They feel it's coming. They've been close. Did you think this much was coming? And is the whole hitting contagious thing, is that legit now?
I think recent memory can lead you to think that this is how it's been all season, and it hasn't been. We have been a good offensive club for a large majority of the season, But because of how we finished and some of the dry spells in September, and it just tricks you into believing that we're not an offensive club, and we really are. We don't put those numbers up on the board by accident. And so you need some confidence. You need a nice little boost. You need to connect at bats. We talked about it before the game where you need 1 and 2 and 3 good things to happen in a row, and we did that. And it wasn't just the big swings. I love the big swings. But there's also some singles in there. There was the Dingler at bat where he gets we finally get on the scoreboard. It's McKinstry not only moving the runner but hitting the ball to right field after Torque, who'd gotten on base. So there's, when you can, with Wenzel coming off the bench and finally feeling good about end of an at bat, those things all contribute and they matter. And I think it shows that there's still a good offensive club in this clubhouse, and we need another effort like that and results like that come Friday.
Could you comment on Javi's approach and composure?
He did everything perfectly today. I mean, it was amazing. He rises to the moment, and the near miss homer is always that feeling of like what was barely missed. But Javi loves these big games, these big crowds, these opportunities to do something great. And he is a steady force in the middle of our field. Every time I go out on the mound to change a pitcher, which seems to be a lot, Javi's always there with some sort of calmness, even more so in the postseason than in the regular season. And I really appreciate that out of him because he's been there, he's done it, it matters a lot to him. And the big swings, whether it's a base hit to right, whether it's the pull side homer, and everything in between is pretty magical to see.
AJ, off that, I mean, you've been through so much with Javi. What's it like for you to see the best version of him kind of reemerge here in the playoffs?
It's very rewarding to watch him play with some joy. He's had to endure a lot, whether it's the frustration at the beginning of his Tiger tenure to the injury and missing out on what was an incredible season last year, to this year, the ups and downs, the All-Star nod, to scuffling a little bit in the second half, to even out of the lineup or getting pinch hit for, to now being a huge part of the bottom half of our order to roll the lineup forward. So our best team has him, doing some pretty impactful things, and I know the work that goes into it. I know how much it matters, and that makes it even more rewarding.
AJ, were you surprised they went to Spire with Meadows, and it looked like you guys were super aggressive against Spire based on some early swings?
We going into the game, we talked about it being an elimination game for us, but we also knew it was going to be a very aggressive game for them, and obviously we had a comfortable lead where they weren't going to get too many more of their back end guys. But no, it didn't surprise us just because game 5 elimination games are something to avoid when you're on the lead side too when it comes to going into game 4. So we knew that Spire was going to be a part of it. Had it been closer, Brash and Munoz would have been a part of it. There's no secrets when you get this deep in a series. Sure.
AJ, Tarek's about to be in the same spot he was a year ago. Can you speak to what that means for him to get that chance so quickly, and then maybe what he gained from that experience last year?
Yeah, I think, sitting in my chair, one of the easiest things to do and one of the most exciting things to do is hand the ball to the best pitcher in baseball. This guy should have, more hardware on his mantle, and he's gonna be recognized because of the work that he's done during the season. But he's so prepared for this moment. He obviously is somebody deeply trusted in our clubhouse to bring intensity, to bring high-end pitching and bring results. And we win together, we lose together, but he leads us. And he's a big presence going into Game 5 as we get on this plane to go across the country. We got a lot of optimism, heading that way because of the presence of Tarek Skubal.